Welcome, everyone. Today, I don't want to motivate you with fake positivity. I don't want to give you quotes. I don't want to talk about success in a perfect way. I want to tell you the truth. The truth about life, the truth about pain, and the truth about how success is earned, not given. This is not a story about talent. It's not a story about luck. It's not about someone who had everything. This is a story about a person who had nothing, no confidence, no money, no special talent, and no support. But they had one thing. They were willing to take challenges when others ran away from them. And that single decision changed everything. So sit back, forget your doubts, forget your excuses, and just listen. Not with your ears, but with your heart, because this story might be your own. And remember something important. Every minute you listen to stories like this, your English is improving without pressure, your listening is getting stronger, and your mind is learning naturally. You are not just watching a video. You are training your brain. You are building confidence. You are becoming better, step by step. So if this story touched you, if it felt real, if it felt like your life, subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't just motivate you. We help you grow, we help you think, and we help you learn English through powerful stories. Stay with us. Your transformation has already started. Part 1. The Silent Life. He never spoke much, not because he was shy, but because deep inside, he believed his voice didn't matter. His name was Evan, 25 years old. No one remembered his birthday. No one asked how he was doing. No one cared what he was dreaming of. He was the kind of person who was always there but never noticed. In college, he sat at the back. At home, he stayed in his room. On social media, he just scrolled. In life, he just survived. He watched others, posting their wins, celebrating their promotions, buying cars, traveling, laughing. And he stayed silent. Maybe I'm not meant for something big, he used to whisper to himself. He worked a small job, 9 to 5, $400 a month. Not because that was his dream, but because it was safe. Every day felt the same. Wake up, go to work, come back, eat alone, sleep. No one clapped for him. No one said, "You're doing great." No one asked, "What do you want from life?" But the pain wasn't the worst part. The worst part was, he started believing that this was all he was worth. One night, something happened. It was 2 a.m. The room was dark. The fan was spinning slowly. The world outside was silent. But inside Evan's head, a storm was rising. He stared at the ceiling and said, "Is this it? Is this my life? Wake up, work, eat, scroll, sleep, repeat. No dreams, no challenges, just existence?" He sat up, walked to the mirror, looked at himself, and didn't recognize the face. "Where did I go?" he asked. "Where's the boy who once wanted more? Who once said, 'I'll do something great'? Where did he disappear?" There was no answer, only silence. That night, he cried. Not because someone hurt him, but because he had given up on himself. And the scariest thing, he didn't even realize when it happened. You see, Evan didn't choose this life. He just stopped choosing, stopped risking, stopped believing, and comfort took control. He avoided hard conversations. He ignored challenges. He made excuses. He told himself, "I'm not ready yet." But slowly, this comfort turned into a slow, invisible prison. Every time he wanted to apply for something new, he got scared. Every time he wanted to speak up, he backed down. Every time he had an idea, he kept it to himself. "I'll fail anyway," he thought. What if people laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? And this comfort started to kill him. Not physically, but mentally. He smiled less. He stopped learning. He stopped challenging himself. He stopped living. The world around him was moving fast. People were creating. People were failing, but improving. People were scared, but trying. But Evan? He waited for the right time. He waited to feel ready. He waited for life to change. But nothing changed, because he never took a challenge. He never tested himself. He never dared to go beyond his limits. He never fought for a better life. And slowly, the biggest lie became his truth. I can't do it. Not because it was true, but because he never tried. One day, a childhood friend visited town. They hadn't spoken in years. That friend was now working in another country, leading a team, building something amazing. They met for coffee. And as Evan listened to his friend talk about life, projects, risks, goals, he smiled on the outside. But on the inside, he broke. Not because his friend was successful, but because he realized we were the same once, same school, same age, but now I'm just watching life, and he's out there living it. That night, Evan walked home slowly. No music, no calls, no excitement. Just one burning question in his mind. What happened to me? He didn't sleep that night. After standing in front of the mirror for almost an hour, Evan sat down on the floor. No phone, no music, no distractions, just him. And silence. His body was tired, but his mind was finally awake. For years, Evan believed he was playing it safe. He didn't apply for better jobs. Because what if he failed? He didn't speak up in meetings. Because what if people judged him? He didn't take new responsibilities. Because what if he wasn't good enough? Instead, he stayed in his zone. Same job, same room, same excuses. At first, comfort felt like a soft bed on a rainy day. It felt warm. It felt safe. It felt peaceful. But now, it felt like a prison with invisible walls. He wasn't resting anymore. He was rotting inside. Comfort didn't protect me, he whispered. It slowly killed my hunger. Evan began to understand something deeply painful. Comfort is not free. It has a price, a heavy one. Comfort steals your ambition. Comfort hides your potential. Comfort teaches you to survive, but never to grow. It keeps you in the same place, while the world moves forward without you. Every day I chose comfort. I lost a piece of the person I was supposed to become. He felt like crying again, but this time, not from sadness, from rage. He was angry at himself, not because he failed, but because he never even tried. He started remembering all the moments in the past where he could have changed his life, but chose comfort instead. The job interview he canceled last minute. The course he paid for but never completed. The public speaking event he skipped. The friend who invited him to start a business and he said, maybe later. That later never came. And each time he said no, comfort gave him a gentle pat on the back and said, don't worry, you're safe here. But what comfort never told him was, you're also stuck here. The next morning, Evan woke up. But for the first time in years, he didn't feel lazy. He didn't feel slow. He didn't feel numb. He felt aware. He sat down with a notebook and wrote just one sentence. Comfort is the most dangerous enemy in disguise. Because it doesn't scream at you. It doesn't hit you. It doesn't threaten you. It just whispers nice things in your ear. You're doing okay. You deserve to relax. Don't push yourself. There's time. You're not ready. Others are luckier. You'll try tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Comfort is not loud. It's quiet, soft, sweet, and that's why it's deadly. Here's the truth Evan finally accepted. I'm not untalented. I'm not unlucky. I'm not useless. I'm just living in a cage built by my own fear. A cage that looks like scrolling for 3 hours and calling it rest, saying next week for the last 8 months, starting things and never finishing, pretending you don't care because you're scared to fail. That's comfort. It's not peaceful. It's paralysis. Over the next few days, Evan started observing his own mind. He noticed something strange. Every time he thought about doing something challenging, his mind became a professional liar. It created fear, excuses, negative images, fake stories. Think about joining the gym. People will laugh at me. Think about starting a side hustle. I don't know enough. Think about talking to a manager. What if I sound stupid? Your mind always chooses comfort, unless you train it. That's when Evan realized, if I don't control my brain will control me. So one night, Evan took a pen and wrote 5 sentences on paper. These 5 became his new mindset. He stuck them on the wall above his bed. 1. Comfort is not peace, it's prison. 2. Easy choices now create hard lives later. 3. Every time I feel fear, I must move forward. 4. No one grows by staying the same. 5. Pain builds the person I want to become. He read them every morning and every night until they became a part of him. This was not motivation. This was reprogramming. Part 2. The first challenge. I don't care if it's hard, I just don't want to be the same man in 5 years. That one sentence became a seed inside Evan. But seeds don't grow overnight. They grow when you water them with action. And now, Evan was about to face his very first test. The first real challenge after years of choosing the easy way. And let me tell you the truth. The first challenge always feels the scariest. Not because it's the hardest, but because your mind is still weak. Evan woke up early. Earlier than usual. The sun hadn't even risen. He sat up, looked around, and whispered, I'm not going to waste another day just existing. But saying those words was easy. Doing something real, that's where 99% of people fall back. Still, Evan had already made a decision to fight his comfort, to take the first step, even if it was small. So he opened his laptop and searched for freelance work for beginners. Now, some people will say, that's not a big step, that's just browsing. But those people don't understand how the brain works. For someone who's been hiding in fear for years, just typing a search like that feels like entering a battlefield. Your hands shake. Your inner critic screams. You feel stupid. You feel like a fraud. You hear voices in your head saying, you're not ready. You'll embarrass yourself. Don't even try. That's how powerful your fear becomes when comfort has controlled you for years. But Evan kept going. He read articles. He watched a video on how to get your first client. He downloaded a free guide. He even created a profile on a freelance website. It wasn't perfect. His profile looked basic. He had no reviews, no portfolio, no experience. But this time, he didn't let that stop him. A few hours later, he saw a job posting. Looking for someone to write a short blog article, 600 words, about healthy habits. Beginners welcome. His heart started pounding. I've never done this before. What if they hate it? What if I fail? The fear returned. fast. He moved his mouse to close the tab, but then he remembered what he wrote. Pain builds the person I want to become. He took a deep breath and sent a message to the client. After sending that message, something strange happened. Evan felt proud for a second, but within minutes, his brain started fighting back. Why did you do that? You're not ready. What if they reply and ask for work? What if you actually get the job and mess it up? This is something most people don't talk about. Taking action is not the hard part. The fear after you take action is even worse. That night, he didn't sleep well. His mind kept playing scary scenarios. What if the client insults his work? What if they laugh at his writing? What if he can't deliver? But for the first time, Evan didn't quit. He accepted the fear. He sat with it. He didn't run back to comfort. He simply whispered, "If I fail, I learn. If I win, I grow. But if I run, I stay the same." The next morning, he checked his inbox. There was a reply. His hands were sweating. His chest tightened. His mind screamed, "Don't open it." But he did. The message said, "Hi, Evan. Thanks for your message. Can you write a sample paragraph and send it in 1 hour?" Boom. This was it. The first real challenge. The first door that actually opened. And here's the truth. Opportunity never knocks with comfort. It always knocks with pressure. Evan froze. He opened his writing app, typed 2 words, deleted them, typed again, deleted again. His self-doubt attacked him like a wild animal. You don't know what you're doing. Your English isn't good enough. Why would they choose you? You're going to look like a fool. He looked at the clock. Only 47 minutes left. Every part of his body wanted to shut the laptop and disappear. But one small voice inside him said, "You asked for a challenge. This is it. Finish what you started." So he typed. Slowly, carefully, fearfully. But he typed. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't expert level. But it was honest, clear, and from the heart. He used simple English. He focused on the reader. He followed the instructions. And at 59 minutes, he clicked send. Then closed his eyes. Not from relief, but because he was still scared. An hour passed. No reply. 2 hours. Still nothing. Evan started feeling it again. That old, familiar fear. You failed. You're not good enough. You tried to step out and now you'll regret it. That's how comfort tries to pull you back in. Not with logic, but with emotion. It waits for you to feel scared again. It offers you a way out. Quit now. At least you tried. But Evan refused. He reminded himself, this fear is not a sign to stop. It's a sign that I'm growing. Later that evening, a notification appeared on his screen. He opened it. The message said, "Great work, Evan. I like your writing. Let's continue with the article. I'll pay $25 for this one." Evan didn't scream. He didn't dance. He didn't call anyone. He just stared at the screen with tears in his eyes. Not because of the money, but because this was the first time in his life he got paid for doing something he was afraid of. That $25 felt like $1 million. Because it proved one thing, I can. That $25 didn't change his life, but it changed the way he looked at himself. For the first time in years, Evan believed one thing. Maybe I'm not useless. Maybe I can build something. Slowly. But life doesn't reward belief immediately. Life tests it. The next morning, Evan woke up with hope. Not excitement, not confidence, just hope. He opened his laptop again, checked freelance websites, sent more proposals, 1, 2, 10, no replies. The first day passed, then the second, then the third. Silence. That small voice returned. See, that was just luck. One job doesn't mean anything. Don't get your hopes up. This is the part no one talks about. After your first small win, reality punches you harder. Because now you expect progress. But progress doesn't come in straight lines. A week later, Evan finally got another reply. This time, the client asked him to write a longer article. Evan worked all night. He checked grammar. He rewrote sentences again and again. He tried his best. He sent the work. Hours passed. Then the reply came. Sorry, this is not what we're looking for. We'll go with someone else. That message didn't just reject his work. It rejected his confidence. Evan stared at the screen. No anger, no tears, just a deep, heavy feeling in his chest. Maybe I was wrong, he thought. Maybe I'm not built for this. That night was worse than before, because now quitting felt reasonable. He had proof. One small success, one painful rejection. His brain did the math. Why suffer like this? Why feel stupid again and again? Go back to your old life. At least it was predictable. This is where most people quit, not at the start, but after they taste hope and then lose it. Evan didn't tell anyone what he was trying to do. Not his parents, not his friends, not his co-workers. Because how do you explain a dream that hasn't worked yet? So he fought alone. He woke up early, worked his job, came home tired, sat on his bed, opened his laptop every day. No applause, no encouragement, no one saying keep going. Just silence. And silence is dangerous. Because in silence, your mind becomes your enemy. One night, Evan stood in front of the mirror again, but this time he didn't ask, "Where did I go?" This time he asked, "Why am I doing this to myself?" His eyes were tired. His face looked older. His shoulders were heavy. He whispered, "Everyone else seems happy. Why am I choosing pain?" And then something hit him. A realization so painful, yet so true. Everyone looks happy, because I'm only seeing their results, not their struggle. Evan began to notice something. Even though he was failing, even though he was tired, even though he was lonely, he was no longer empty. He was engaged. He had a reason to wake up, a reason to sit with discomfort, a reason to fight his own limits. Pain had entered his life, but so had purpose. And purpose hurts before it heals. One evening, after another rejection, Evan shut his laptop hard. He lay down on the floor. No energy, no motivation, no strength. He thought, what if this never works? What if I waste years and end up nowhere? Tears rolled down his face. Not dramatic tears, quiet ones. The kind you wipe away quickly, because you don't even have the energy to cry loudly. That night, he almost quit. Almost. In the middle of that breakdown, one question came to his mind. If I quit now, will I respect myself 5 years later? He imagined his future self. Same job, same room, same regret. And something inside him broke. But this time, in a good way. He whispered, I would rather fail honestly than succeed by hiding. From that day onward, Evan stopped expecting fast results. He expected pain. Rejections became normal. Slow days became normal. Doubt became normal. And strangely, that made him stronger. When pain is expected, it loses its power to stop you. Success doesn't come after pain. Success comes through pain. Pain is not a sign you're failing. Pain is a sign you're becoming someone new. Loneliness is not punishment. It's preparation. Failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Part 3. The Inner War. He slept that night not because life was easy, but because he had finally stopped running from pain. But the truth is, stopping is not enough. Quitting comfort is not enough. Even taking action is not enough. Because the real war is not out there. It's not the clients. It's not the job. It's not the world. The real war is inside your own head. Every morning, Evan woke up with two voices in his mind. One said, "Let's go. You're building something." The other whispered, "You're wasting your time. Go back to sleep." One voice said, "Stay consistent." The other laughed. "You? Consistent? Since when?" One pushed him forward. The other pulled him back. And this wasn't a one-time thing. It was every single morning. This is the war everyone faces, but almost no one talks about, because it's invisible. You can hide your failures. You can smile through your pain. You can tell others, "I'm doing okay." But inside, you're battling your own doubts, your own habits, your own identity. And no one claps for that. Evan realized something. If I don't control my mornings, my mind will control my entire day. So he made a simple rule. Wake up at 6 a.m., no matter what. It sounded easy. But the first morning, he woke up, saw the time, and heard the familiar voice. "Just 10 more minutes. You need rest. Be kind to yourself." He almost agreed. Almost. But then he said to himself, "This is not about sleep. This is about self-respect." And he got up. That was the first small win of the day. And in this part of life, small wins matter more than motivation. Evan noticed something else. Every time he sat down to work, his hand automatically reached for his phone. Scroll, swipe, waste time, feel guilty, repeat. He didn't even enjoy it anymore. But it had become a habit, a form of escape. So he made a second rule. No phone for the first 2 hours after waking up. The first day was torture. He reached for it unconsciously. He kept thinking, what if I missed something important? But after an hour of discomfort, something amazing happened. He felt clearer, calmer, more focused. Every distraction I remove gives me back a piece of my life, he realized. But the hardest war wasn't with the phone, or the schedule, or the outside world. It was with his own voice. Every time he tried something new, his brain attacked him with doubt. You're not ready. You're not qualified. Others are better. What if you fail again? Why are you trying so hard? Just relax. And worst of all, who do you think you are? That sentence broke him, because for years he didn't believe he was anyone. But now, he was trying to become someone, and that change made his brain uncomfortable. Evan read something one day. Your brain doesn't want you to be successful. It wants you to be safe. It sees change as danger. That's when he understood. Every time he felt fear, it wasn't weakness. It was his brain trying to protect the old version of him. My brain is trying to save me from pain, but it's also saving me from growth. And so he started responding to the fear. Every time it whispered, "You can't do this," he answered, "That's why I must." To win this war, Evan created a simple inner training system. 1. Write 3 positive sentences every morning. Not fake affirmations. Real, honest reminders, like, I don't need to be perfect. I need to be consistent. Fear is proof that I'm growing. Success is on the other side of silence. He stuck them on his wall. 2. Catch every negative thought and answer it. Whenever he caught his brain saying something negative, he forced himself to write a reply. Thought, you'll never be good enough. Reply, I don't need to be good. I need to be brave. At first, this felt stupid, but after 2 weeks of doing it every day, his inner voice started to change tone. 3. Respect the process, no matter how boring. Some days were amazing, some days were slow, some days felt pointless. But Evan made a rule. Do the work, even when you feel nothing. Write, learn, send proposals, track time, reflect. Whether he felt excited or empty, he showed up. This created something powerful, not motivation, momentum. One day, Evan was writing in his journal, and he noticed something had changed. Before, he used to write, I have to wake up early. I have to write this. I have to fix this. Now he was writing, I get to learn this. I get to build something. I get to try. This was the biggest mindset shift of all, because now he wasn't forcing himself. He was choosing this life, and choice creates power. Here's what Evan learned after months of fighting. Discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's about proving you can trust yourself. Consistency isn't about motivation. It's about making small promises and keeping them. Self-talk isn't about fake positivity. It's about changing the story you tell yourself. Winning the inner war doesn't mean you never feel doubt again. It means you don't let doubt control your life anymore. Part 4. Quiet transformation. The world still didn't know Evan. He didn't go viral. He didn't have followers. He didn't have fame. No one was cheering for him. No one was calling him successful. But for the first time in his life, he was showing up every single day. And that was creating a new version of himself. Transformation is not loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't come with music or applause. It looks like waking up even when you don't feel like it. Choosing focus over comfort. Doing small things daily, even when no one's watching. Falling, failing, but continuing. Forgiving yourself and restarting without drama. It's not a glow-up. It's not a movie. It's the quiet rewriting of your mind, your habits, your future. Evan's life didn't magically become easy. He still had his job, still faced rejection, still battled moments of doubt. But now he had a system, and systems beat motivation. Every morning, wake up at 6 a.m. Write 3 affirmations. Avoid the phone. Do one hard thing before breakfast. Show up for his dream, whether it was writing, applying, learning, or building. It wasn't exciting, but it was powerful, because each day added a tiny brick to the new foundation he was building. And bricks, over time, become walls. Walls become rooms. Rooms become homes. He was building the home of his new identity. Comfort still whispered. Distractions still called. Fear still visited. But now, they didn't control him anymore. Why? Because Evan had changed one small but powerful thing. He stopped negotiating with weakness. When his mind said, let's skip today, he replied, that version of me is gone. Not with anger, but with peace. Because true power isn't in shouting at your weakness. It's in not giving it your time anymore. One day, he looked at his journal and saw this entry. Day 47. Woke up early. Sent 3 new job proposals. Rejected again. No problem. Still proud. Still calm. Still going. That line hit him hard. Still proud. Still calm. Still going. He didn't realize it, but he had crossed a point that most people never reach. He was no longer doing the work to prove himself. He was doing it because it was who he was now. In his free time, Evan started doing something he had never done before. He learned for joy, not to impress, not to chase results, just to grow. He read books on mindset. He watched videos on business. He took notes. He practiced writing every single day. It was no longer about speed. It was about depth. He told himself, I don't need to know everything today. I just need to know a little more than yesterday. And that shift made learning beautiful. Before, Evan needed people to clap for him. He needed likes. He needed praise. He needed someone to say, "You're doing great." But now, he respected himself for waking up early. He respected himself for doing the hard thing. He respected himself for trying again after failure. He respected himself for staying focused while others partied. That self-respect was quiet, but it was unshakable. I'm not better than anyone, he thought. But I'm better than the man I was 6 months ago, and that's enough for now. From the outside, nothing big had changed. He still lived in the same apartment, still wore the same clothes, still walked the same streets. But inside, he had become more disciplined, more grounded, more confident, more emotionally stable, more focused, more peaceful. Transformation is not always visible, but you feel it in how you react, how you think, how you carry yourself. That's the real upgrade. One cold morning, Evan stepped outside for a walk. It was early, no people, no noise, just him and the sky. He watched the sunrise, and he smiled, not because something amazing had happened, but because something had not happened. He didn't hear the old voices anymore. He didn't feel like quitting. He didn't feel like a failure. He just felt present. That moment was everything. I am becoming the man I once prayed I could be. Not in front of millions, but in front of the mirror. These are the truths Evan now lived by. 1. The world changes after you change. Don't wait for your life to get better. Get better and life follows. 2. Success is not one big decision. It's 1,000 small ones. Wake up, show up, shut up, do the work, repeat. 3. Growth is boring, but so is regret. You get to choose your boring. The boredom of discipline or the boredom of living small. 4. Most people want to look changed. I want to be changed. Let others post. I'll practice. 5. Transformation is slow, painful, invisible, and permanent. If you can stay long enough in the silence, you'll come out as someone the world won't recognize. But you will. By now, Evan had no big money, no audience, no overnight success. But he had something most people never get: a new identity. The old version of him, scared, lazy, addicted to comfort, was gone. And a new man had been born, not from luck, not from hype, but from quiet, painful, daily effort. And soon, the world would see it. How to take challenges to get success. Most people believe success comes when life becomes comfortable. They think one day fear will disappear, confidence will arrive, and everything will feel easy. That day never comes. Growth never begins in comfort. Growth begins the moment you step into something difficult, unfamiliar, and uncomfortable. That moment is called a challenge. If you are waiting for success without struggle, you are not being patient. You are waiting for an illusion. A challenge is not something extreme or dramatic. It is not always quitting a job or changing your life overnight. A real challenge is anything that forces you to stretch beyond who you are today. It could be speaking when you usually stay silent, trying again when you usually quit, starting something even though you feel unready. A challenge makes your heart hesitate and your mind resist. That resistance is not a warning. It is a signal that growth is near. Challenges matter because comfort never builds strength. First, challenges break laziness. Laziness survives only when nothing pushes back. The moment you choose something difficult, your body and mind are forced to move. Second, Challenges reveal weakness. This is not failure. This is clarity. You cannot improve what you refuse to see. Third, challenges reshape the brain. When you face difficulty, your brain adapts. It learns to focus, endure, and solve problems. Comfort creates a weak mind. Challenges create a strong one. Finally, challenges build courage, not by removing fear, but by proving that fear does not control you. Each time you act despite fear, you quietly tell yourself, I can handle discomfort. That sentence, repeated over time, becomes confidence. The right challenge feels uncomfortable but possible. If it feels impossible, you will freeze. If it feels too easy, nothing will change. Growth lives in the middle. If you fear speaking English, the challenge is not perfection. The challenge is speaking a little every day, even if your voice shakes. If discipline is your weakness, the challenge is not becoming perfect. The challenge is doing one hard thing each morning before comfort takes over. There are only 3 things you truly need. The first is clarity. You must know why this challenge matters to you. Pain without meaning leads to quitting. Pain with meaning builds strength. The second is commitment. Motivation will come and go. Commitment stays when motivation disappears. Make the challenge clear and specific so excuses have no place to hide. The third is consistency. Results should not be your focus in the beginning. Showing up should be. Some days you will feel strong. Some days you will feel tired, bored, or doubtful. That does not mean the challenge is wrong. It means the challenge is working. The moment you say yes to a challenge, your future changes direction. Not because success appears immediately, but because you stop running from growth. You do not become successful in one day, but you become different in one decision. The decision to face discomfort instead of avoiding it. Take the challenge. Stay with the discomfort. Let it shape you. And one day, without noise, without showing off, you will realize you have become someone stronger than you ever imagined.